Everybody, and welcome. And we have two maybe ill. Are we playing our own version of License to Ill? You remember that album? I do. Anyway,
Yeah.
License to Ill, yeah, the Beastie Boys, one of the best albums ever recorded, right? I'm just saying. Anyway, this is Tim, and
Keri.
neither of us is feeling particularly well, but we are giving the people what they want. There you go.
Content. We're giving content.
Content. Anyway, we thought it was pretty important for us to tell you all right now we are waiting in the last couple of days before Golden Bean entries get judged. Yes, we're all getting judged. And how does that affect us? Well, our intention was to tell you about what it takes to pick Golden Bean coffees, and I think we'll cover that. And I know that we'll talk about what constitutes coffee to win medals by. I'm sure we'll cover that. But let me just say that my friend and co-leaseor Keri is really not feeling well and made a point to come on board today. So for anybody who is listening to this, please subscribe and make it worth our while. Pretty please. Please.
I have to make a note about that. So, for everyone listening, currently, the stats that I looked at, we're at 50 subscribers on Spotify. And for us to monetize,
Hey.
right, and for us to monetize on Spotify, we need at least 100 listeners. So, if you know someone who's coffee obsessed, likes a little bit of good humor, recommend the Drop Temp Coffee Podcasts. Help us get to a point where we can monetize and that we can use that money to further prolong the podcast, pay for things. Please, that'd be wonderful. Thank you.
Offer a bribe. What do you think? I think we should bribe the people to get more people subscribing. I think we should give them a free cup of coffee at the cafe. What do you think?
Well, what if they're not in Oregon or where we are?
I'll drop a couple bucks off a pound of coffee from my company.
Yeah, and I could do this. I'll tell you what. How about we do this? What if we did a contest? Okay, just hear me out. What if we did a contest?
Okay.
And what we'll do is we'll do a contest of seeing when we hit 100 subscribers onto our podcast, we should do a giveaway. There you go.
Okay, so let's say it clear. When we get to 100 subscribers, and we are currently at 50, we are going to do a giveaway from both of our companies. That's a win.
100 subscribers.
That's a win.
100 subscribers on Spotify.
Right, so everybody listen to Spotify and subscribe. We want those. We want those subscriptions. Anyway, with that said, thank you for joining, Keri. I know you're not feeling very well today, but believe me, here's to you and my non-alcoholic beverage. Cheers.
And here's to my Waterloo sparkling water.
We want you to sign up as a sponsor. There you go. And meal flavored water. By the way, the coffee flavor is not bad.
Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh. Well, it is Golden Bean Week. It is currently on a Thursday, and we are going to hear on Saturday night what happens. And we've kind of decided that we're going to do a little watch party at one of our local watering holes. We're going to say a quick thank you to Three Mugs Brewing for giving us a place to go. Thanks, Three Mugs. We appreciate you guys very much. Anybody wants to come and join us, feel free. We might even buy a round, or maybe not. Depends. We get thousands of people in there. I can't afford to do that, but we'll make it right. With that said, Keri, tell the people what you entered this year and why.
So my Golden Bean entries were 2 coffees. The first one was Morning Mayhem, which is my anaerobic natural process coffee from Zambia. That was entered into the single serve category, which is also known as the K-Cup category, which I placed a silver medal last year for my Emu is Emo coffee. So I'm trying to at least get either a silver medal again or at least go for gold this category. So pretty excited to see what that turns into. Um, the other one, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. Um, a few weeks ago, I entered into a roasting competition for Hasina Coffee Source, which is a green importing company in Anaheim, California. They did a coffee roasting competition where they sent out 3 mystery coffees, and we had no information about them. And so we had to roast these mystery coffees, create a blend, and we had to figure out the percentage of the blend, and then we submitted. So there was over 100 people that entered into this contest, and out of those 100 people, I won 3rd place for my blend, and that was really awesome. Thank you. I got some cool prizes to go with it, including this shirt from Roast Magazine. So shout out to Roast Magazine.
Shout out Roast. By the
Yep.
way, subscribe. They should also sponsor us. Roast.
Right. So
Right.
Roast Magazine. And there was a couple of prizes, including a fresh roast SR 800 home roaster. So that's a small like little air roaster thing. I'm pretty excited to play with that if I get around to it. But yeah, it was a great competition. We did find out eventually as they announced the winners, like what the coffees were. So that was pretty rad to figure out what it was. And then basically, with I had leftover coffee from that competition. I basically took the feedback from what the judges said on my coffee from that competition, roasted up the coffee again, this for Golden Bean, based on that feedback, and then I submitted that to the pour over category for Golden Bean Americas, and it's called Mom Sangria Vibes. So that's the coffee.
Bria and Mom.
And the reason why it's
Right.
called Sangria Vibes is because of the really nice sweet red fruit juiciness that came out of it. You got like grape, raspberry out of it. It was a really nice blend.
I thought it was just because you like sangria.
No, but I'm not really much of an alcohol drinker, to be honest. So, but I know sangrias are red, sweet wines. That's all I know.
We won't go into the depth of sangria, but that's pretty awesome. And I'm really, really happy for you doing so on that contest. I know you spent a week forcing us to taste test your coffee. I'm glad it worked. By the way, you know we're friends because I actually suffered through a really bad stomach ache after a day or two of that. But it worked. Well done, Keri. Bravo. Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so chose an anaerobic coffee that we both know very well from Zambia as your single serve, and you really like that category because it did well for you. What is it about that coffee that you love? Why did you enter that coffee and not say the emo is emu is emo for the second year in a row?
I think the reason why is because the fact that the Zambia is from a woman's co-op farm, and I really want to represent women in coffee. So I felt like it was really important to represent a coffee from a woman's co-op. So that was really important with me. But also
Nice.
too, the coffee itself is just amazing. Like you get peach and pear. It's a nice, sweet, syrupy mouthfeel. For it being a single serve, aka K cup, like it's going to be brewed as a delicious, delicious cup of coffee. What I with the extraction of what it is as a K cup versus what you get at the pour over, uh, it's gonna taste. Uh, it's gonna taste the same, if not better. I mean, granted, with pour over, there's a couple of things that you get out of pour over versus Keurig cup that you won't necessarily get because the extraction of water and temperature also play a part. But I mean, as we're talking about a home setup, but overall, I feel strongly that it's going to be very consistent across the board, no matter what brewing method you do, and I think it's going to really shine in the single serve category.
Well, I hope you crush it. I hope you absolutely crush it. I have a staff that's very talented. Last year we did very well, and this year I wanted to give my staff an opportunity to choose coffees, and that's the two associate roasters and management level people that I have working. So Bowie put together a coffee from the DR Congo, which she described as a really amazing cup of coffee. I wanted to enter that in milk-based, alternative milk-based, and pour over coffees, which I think is going to do very well. It's a great coffee. And Sharia, again, yet another amazing talent in my stable of talent, entered a coffee from Sumatra, Mandailing region, and blew my mind. Quite frankly, it's the best Sumatran coffee I've ever had. And she wanted to enter that in espresso and alternative milk based and pour over, and I think she's going to do very well in there. For us, we also found that amazing co-op coffee from Zambia, and we entered that as Zambian fruit cup. Our roasting styles are quite a bit different, but I think it's going to actually do very well for us. We entered that in 4 different categories. Put that in pour over, espresso, milk-based espresso, and alternative milk-based espresso. Honestly, that coffee is pretty astounding, and I would be amazed if we didn't walk out with 5 medals for that coffee. It's an amazing coffee. It's fantastic. And finally, we ended up doing a pineapple co-ferment from Nicaragua that may be the most interesting coffee I've ever had. Stands out above and beyond, something that really came with a lot of sweetness, a little citrus. The processing on the coffee is ridiculously complicated, but the coffee itself is very approachable. And we put that into espresso and alternative milk-based espresso. I think we're going to do very well there. We also entered our decaf this year. We believe very strongly in sugarcane decaf, and we've been very fortunate the last 3 years to actually medal all 3 years in a row using the same coffee. We're a big fan of our sugarcane process from Colombia. I think it kind of leads us to the point of what is it about coffee that would make us want to enter that. And I think we both stated that Zambia coffee stands out. It's very unique, super sweet, hard to miss the fruit back on that in a variety of different ways. But I think for me, what I'm looking for when I want to enter a coffee is something really surprising, unexpected. That's really where I want to go with that. We don't often put the same coffee in 2 years in a row. That is true this year as well. We ended up finding 4 new coffees that we really, really liked. And we like getting the feedback. That's something we're going to talk a little more about in a bit, is the feedback we get from this particular contest. How about, Keri, when you're looking for a coffee for Golden Bean, what are you looking for?
For me, whenever I'm looking for a coffee for Golden Bean, I'm looking for something that has like you were saying, like something that I haven't entered into before. Something that is going to be that it's going to be overall very prominent as far as profile and aroma, and something that not only that I appreciate, but my customers appreciate, and that's if there's like a consistency throughout that, then I know that it's a really good coffee to send. But I am
I'm sorry, go ahead.
and with that said, with the sangria vibes coffee that I'm sending in, that is something I never really had my customers taste, because it was basically a bunch of coffee I had left over from a previous roasting competition. So, and I'm just taking something that I got feedback from the judges in one roasting competition into this one. Um, and I didn't have any feedback or people tasting, except like when I was originally submitting the coffee. I had you and Bowie actually test the coffee, and you guys both got stomach aches. Um, so that was really the only feedback, like outside of the staff that works inside our building. And so we're just kind of, in a way, kind of after making the modifications and going in kind of blind into that, and gonna see what happens.
I think for me, I take it kind of centralized. What I'm looking for is something that blows my mind. I mean, we start with that. It's great. It's great to get feedback, but I generally will only ask that after I found a coffee that I really, really like. Personally, I think it's a reflection of the roaster. Now, there are a couple things about this contest that are a little bit different than other contests. One of those things is that they actually standardize the brewing method. So, for instance, when they say pour over, they grind everything to the same grind settings. They will set a couple of samples of the same coffee between two coffee professionals, and they will give them a scorecard where they are to mark points based on sweetness, based on boldness, based on acidity, and based on overall how the coffee is. So the most points you can get on that is 40. The best we've ever done is 32. We managed to pull that last year. It's pretty amazing. And generally speaking, when you are looking for a coffee to go in, the baseline for being able to get some hardware or metals on the way home has been about 25. Now, one of those things that happens, and I mentioned this a little earlier, is the feedback that you can get from the contest. Sean and Christine Edwards have been putting on this contest for 15 years in Australia, and this is the 10th year that they've been doing that in North America. But this year they expanded to include South America and Central America as well. So they're expecting quite a few more entries. And one of the things that's going to happen is they're going to record input and suggestions or feedback on the coffees for every coffee that we enter. And honestly, in the 10 years I've been part of this, that has been a tremendous input. It's something that's really valuable. I think the one thing that I like getting out of this contest, beyond winning an occasional medal, is getting feedback that'll help me grow and become a better roaster. And certainly, I've seen that through this contest.
No, I think that's great. You mentioned about the feedback. I think last year I submitted like 3 coffees. And the only medal I got was the silver medal last year.
The only medal, please.
No,
The only medal.
you know what? No, it was great. It made up for the other 2 coffees that did not medal. And looking at the feedback and the notes of what those folks mentioned, I it helped me kind of gauge a little bit more about like what coffees not to enter, and what coffees to kind of, especially trying to bring out certain profiles of the coffee out. It really helps with the feedback.
I agree. Um, feedback from the first year we entered, we put in 4 coffees. We lucked out, won 2 medals that year. And the feedback that we got on the 2 coffees that medaled were that they really liked the prominent flavors that came through. But the 2 coffees we entered that did not medal were both said almost exactly the same thing: too roasty. I think that's pretty interesting. We've been toning down our coffee roasting to try to pull out more flavors. And I think that first contest kind of set the standard for us. I really do like that feedback. I think that's great. I think it's great.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree because it's something that you just kind of take and then you learn and adopt from it, and it makes you a better roaster for sure. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty excited for Saturday when they well, at the time of this recording, it is a Thursday, and the announcements are happening on a Saturday evening. So, pretty excited about that.
People, let's give it to them again. We're going to Three Mugs Brewing. We're going to sit there and have the joy of seeing if our names pop up on a screen. That's always fun.
Yeah, they're gonna live stream it. I know did that. I mean, they do it every year, right? They live stream it,
Right.
so they're gonna live
Yep.
stream and then announce the winners for the categories in Golden Bean. So, pretty excited about that.
Well, pretty excited about that. The other questions we generally get, there are 5 categories for smaller roasters, and they define a smaller roaster as doing less than 5,000 pounds a month, I believe is the standard. So if you're doing more than that, then you are considered a large roaster. Also, large roasters are put together with multiple location roasters into a large roasting category. For micro roasters and people kind of like Keri and I, we do amounts smaller than that. And they also require that we don't spend more than, I think they put it at $60 a kilo, which is about $30 a pound in cost. So both of us this year, I know that what I did, I took all 4 coffees that are actually on our menu. That was one of the original rulings that they had, and put those 4 into this contest. So we're actually drawing from the things they have on our menu this year. And your Morning Mayhem's been on the menu for what, 3 months now, 4 months, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, it's an anaerobic natural coffee that I haven't had on my menu in quite some time, and so um, it's a really awesome, solid coffee. Absolutely enjoy it. And I also have the Emu is Emo, and that one is a really good one. So, kind of expanding a little bit more on the light roast coffee options there, but also, still have our selection of medium and dark roast coffees as well. Um, so, kind of expanding a little bit on I guess you could say on uh, the offerings that I have.
Great. Honestly, we this week we ended up both receiving some additional reviews online that did nothing but say glowing things about our shop, and I can't thank people enough for that. We really appreciate that. Um, my feeling on this is that the part 2 of this is going to be fun. However, if I'm crying tears because I haven't won anything, I'm going to hide that for a bit before we go live and have part 2 put it on here. Um, but I'm hopeful. I think that this year we have the widest variety and probably the best selection of coffees we've ever put into a contest. I'm super proud of Bowie and Sharia. Super proud.
So, like Tim was saying, we're going to have a part 2 of this segment. We're going to come back and we may have tears, we may have laughs, we might be jumping for joy. We don't know what the outcome is because we're recording this before our entries are announced, who the winner is. So, Tim and I thought it would be a great idea if we did this part 1, kind of talking about our coffees and how Golden Bean works for as a roasting competition. And yeah, uh,
Sorry.
and yeah, so we're gonna come
Yeah.
back with the part 2, and we are gonna let you know what the results were. We might get the feedback right away. We might not. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, I think it would be great when we circle back to part 2.
Chances are we might be maybe a little buzzed. Maybe not.
Like,
I might buy you a cider. I'm just saying. I might. I just might.
maybe, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not much of an alcoholic person, so we'll see.
Well, you know what? No, neither am I. But we'll figure it out. Anyway, I want to say a quick thank you to all of our sponsors. So let's go in there with Primo Roasting Equipment. Thanks, guys. Without you, we wouldn't be talking about entering contests. Also, want to say a big thank you to Seattle Coffee Equipment. Thank you very much for helping us measure out the correct amount of coffees. And we want to say thank you to Kool-Aid Coffee with a really cool single serving brewer soon to hit a shelf near you. So please keep an eye out for that. With that, I want to say special thanks to Genuine Origins, who found us some amazing coffees this year. Thank you very much, guys. And we also want to say hello to Anna Christie. And we want to say hello to the guys at Cafe Zamora for bringing some amazing coffee in as well. How about it, Keri? Who you want to say thank you to?
Want to say thank you to Kavoya Coffee. Thank you to um, Cafe Zamora for sure. And want to say thank you for Golden Bean for allowing us roasters to be competitive and really really let us show our creativity when it comes to coffee.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Christine. We'll talk to you guys soon. Let you know what's happening. In the meantime, everybody have a good night, and don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe.
Please,
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 please.
we want to make money.
Well, yes, but we also want to talk to more people. We would love some input.
Definitely.
All right, let's call it.
All right.
Let's wipe her out. You've given enough. You're good.